Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Chase. So this week in math, we've been doing a lot with adding and subtracting fractions, right? We're on lesson 19 right now, and this topic has been pretty simple actually, lucky for us. We got a little bit of a break, right? So we know that when you add or subtract fractions, the denominator must be the same, and lucky for us in this section, they are all the same. Okay, so today I'm going to do a review for your comprehension check that you're going to do after you watch this video. All right, I just want to do a little reminder first that when you're adding fractions, you're simply adding the numerators and keeping the denominator. And when you're subtracting fractions, you subtract the numerators and you keep the denominator, okay? We've done a lot with showing a model on a number line and doing an area model, okay? And in your comprehension check, it's going to ask for a few different variations of that, okay? So I'm going to show you some sort of problems that you're going to see that are going to be very similar to the ones on your comprehension check, okay? So I would either recommend you just look and listen if you're that type of learner, or if you want to take notes and write some things down, that could be really helpful for you in the comprehension check too, okay? So you're going to see a problem that's like this. Shade the model to show the difference, 7/8 minus 3/8, okay? And then you click on the parts of the model to shade it. So when I'm subtracting, I'm starting out with my bigger fraction here. So I need to shade 7/8 of my fraction, okay? So go in and shade. I have 8 equal parts here, right? So I need to shade 7 of the equal parts. Okay, this is showing 7/8. And then if you're given a subtraction one, it's going to give you a tool that allows you to cross them out. So you would need to cross out 3/8 of the model. Okay, and then if it asks you what is the difference, how many is left here remaining? 1, 2, 3, 4. Remaining, you have 4/8. I always like to check my work and make sure. So if I were to start with my original fractions here, subtract across my numerators, 7 minus 3, that's going to equal 4, and my denominator stays the same, 8. Easy enough. You're going to see a question like this. This is the easiest question, okay? You're going to be asked to count by a certain fraction. This one is asking you to count by tenths. So you're simply going to fill in the missing spaces, boys and girls. So if you have 1/10, 2/10, you're going to need to fill in 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, 10/10, okay? It's going to allow you to drag and drop them in. So those problems are pretty easy. Next one, you're going to see something like this. You'll actually see two problems that are kind of similar to this, okay? So it's asking you to decide if the expression has the same value as these options that it's showing, okay? So the first thing we should do is figure out what is the value here, okay? What's the difference? So we have 8/10 minus 2/10. I know I can go ahead and subtract the numerators. 8 minus 2 is going to give me 6, and my denominator stays the same with 10, okay? So now I need to go through and see if any of these also equal 6/10, okay? So I'll start with the first one here. This one's adding. So 3/10 plus 3/10. 3 plus 3 gives me 6, and my denominator is 10. So yes, that would be the same. This one's subtracting. 9/10 minus 3/10. 9 minus 3 is 6, and my denominator stays the same with 10. Is that the same as 6/10? Sure is. Here I'm adding. 8/10 plus 2/10. 8 plus 2 is 10. My denominator stays the same. 10 over 10, is that the same as 6/10? No. Now we're subtracting again. 10/10 minus 4/10. So we have 10 minus 4. That gives me 6. My denominator is 10, right? 6/10. Is that the same as 6/10? Sure is, okay? So that's how you would approach that problem, or the two options that it's going to show you that are similar to that. Then the last one I want to show you, I made up my own rendition of that's very similar to the problem that you're going to see on your comprehension check, okay? But I personalized this one for Mrs. Alder and I. So the problem reads, Miss Chase and Mrs. Alder have identical coffee mugs. Miss Chase drinks 3/7 of the coffee from her mug. Mrs. Alder drinks 2/7 of coffee from her mug. Mrs. Alder writes the equation 3/7 plus 2/7 equals 5/7 to show the amount of coffee they gulp down altogether. Is Mrs. Alder correct? Of course she is. She's a math teacher. But let's try and prove it, okay? So once you read your problem, you're going to see a little section like this that it's going to have some drop down that you'll select the answer, okay? So first of all, you want to make sure, is Mrs. Alder correct? So let's double check. We have 3/7 plus 2/7. So it's going to be 3 plus 2, which equals 5, and the denominator stays the same. So yes, we know that Miss Chase's coffee mug plus Mrs. Alder's coffee mug are going to equal 5/7, okay? So this is actually supposed to say Mrs. Alder. All right, so it says, Mrs. Alder blank add the two fractions. So what's going to come is, it's going to say can or cannot. Can she add these two fractions? Yes, she can. So you would write can. Can add the two fractions because their wholes are, so their wholes or their denominator are the same, right? So something like that is going to go there. She added the fractions correctly or incorrectly? She added correctly, right? So Mrs. Alder is correct. Okay? So just take your time with this one, because if you tried your best this week, I'm really confident that all the kids should have a good understanding about this topic, okay? So it should be kind of an easy, good grade for you boys and girls. All right, guys, good luck. Talk to you later.